This is Chionanthus virginicus, and we are in the Oleaceae, the olive family. Common name of this is fringe tree or old man's beard. It goes by quite a few different names. The common name, fringe tree or old man's beard, comes from the flowers in the spring. So in the spring, the females of this species just hang loaded with these fairly dainty white flowers that have a really strong, pleasant odor. So if you have a female fringe tree in your yard, you'll be able to smell it, from 100 feet away. So it's a really awesome ornamental plant, and it's also native to Athens. In terms of the ID, so the leaf is fairly thick. It's not super, it's not what I would call super unique in terms of its shape. These are getting beat up. This is not a normal pattern for Chionanthus. These spots are just because the leaf's getting ready to be shed and it's kind of worn out for the year. They're leathery, they're thick, they're typically shiny. This one has probably faded some. So that's the leaf. They're opposite. So we're in the olive family, so this is opposite. The twig and bud, I think, is a great, we'll pull all these leaves off, is a great way to ID this species. So if you can see the terminal bud, to me it looks like a Phillips head screwdriver. And then if we look at the twig, you can see the old leaf scars are very raised. And you can see there's some small brown lenticels on the twig. So we have these opposite raised leaf scars on the twig, and they're very often decussate. So here we have this pair, then 90-degree angle this pair, 90-degree angle this pair. So that's really common for fringe tree. The fruit is a drupe, and it's small and it's sort of dark purple, and I have not found any on these trees. But that would be one thing to look out for this time of year. There should be a few around. And the form is, so here we have three. We have this one, which is sort of a multi-stemmed shrub. This one, has a bit more of a trunk, if you would call it that. I'd probably still call this a shrub. And then there's one right there that's definitely a multi-stem shrub, and you can see the suckers coming up from the base. The bark on this is fairly nondescript. It's just rough, fairly rough, and sort of a brownish gray. And as it gets older, you can see it does start to develop some fissures, but not a super distinctive bark in my opinion. It does have these brown sort of splotches. But I think the most distinctive part of fringe tree is probably the fact that it's usually multi-stemmed and the twig structure. So the Phillips head, terminal bud, and then the raised opposite leaf scars.